What's up, guys? Porsche Dad here. Just another day, man. We woke up, we're alive, we have another shot to get after it. A little bit about what's going on today. Just another day in the life of a real estate Mac, and I'm back, baby. I'm back out in the streets here. So we're going to take a drive down to the flip house and take a look at it. I'm going to be rolling in my SQ5 here, 2018 Prestige. It's got every option on it, tuned, 21-inch factory wheels, Michelin tires, stage 1 APR tune, has an intake, also has a turbo elbow, and I put APR coils in it. This thing rips pretty good, but I got to tell you, after running in this thing, or after driving the 911 in this in the S3, this thing feels like you're driving a stagecoach. And really, it used to feel like a little ripper, and it was nimble, and it was really a cool car, but it doesn't feel the same now, rightfully so. But still, in my opinion, a pretty neat car. Anyways, we're going to get in the car. We're going to give this thing a wash because it hasn't been washed. It's dirty. If you guys have kids, you give them a car. You know how that goes. You got to look after it a little bit. So my son hasn't been as diligent with this, but he really hasn't gone many places. So we're going to get in this thing. We're going to head down to Flip House, go in the car wash, find out what's going on. We'll fire this thing up real quick. Another thing here is that there's some big problems with the HVAC. I guess not big problems. I mean, it's going to get done, but you know, I got a guy that's in there right now that I thought was going to do this thing full time, and he was going to be on it and get it done. The projected outcome, which I talked to everybody, is you know, was a week or two. Right now, we just concluded the third week of him working on it, and he's doing it a lot cheaper than it would be if I hired a company that was, you know, on it, spot on it all the time, and I really couldn't afford to do that. The house had radiant heat. It did not have a normal HVAC system. And if you're not familiar with radiant heat is it had heat that was pipes that went through the floor. So there's water beneath the floor. The house is a slab with no basement. There's piping in the floor. It pumps hot water through it, and that's the way it heats the house. It's actually pretty good heat to have. It's nice, warm on the toes when you go into the bathroom and stuff like that. People really like it, but you know, it's not efficient in my eyes. And this house it was just an older house. The system was bad itself, and you really, I don't know, you can't really replace that system and put a new one in and expect to have no issues with it, because I don't know if the pipes are bad in the floors. I don't know why it stopped working. I mean, it was pretty much just dismantled and not working at all when I walked into the house. I mean, the pipes were cut to the floor. So I didn't want to chance it and buy a unit and install it, put it in, and then something's wrong with the pipes. I just figured I'd do it right and redo it. And you know, that's it's either going to cost time or it's going to cost money. I mean, it's costing money, but I tried to go a little bit, like I said, a little bit cheaper on it to save some money. And now it's taking more time. So it's just kind of what it is. It's part of the game. It's definitely frustrating because I want the house to be done and ready to go so I can sell it and make some money and move on to the next project. But right now, I probably got $130-some thousand invested in this house, in the purchase price and in the recon. And you know, it's kind of frustrating when stuff's not getting done as quickly as you want it to, and you're not seeing those results. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to run through the car wash here, and then we're going to be on our way down to the flip house and take a look at it and see what's up. Guy's going to wave me in, and we're going to make sure we don't hit shit. So let's go. Thank you. Appreciate it, boss. There you got Jack. He's Employee of the Month. Check him out. What's up, Jack? All right, guys, so I don't know if you guys are familiar, but this is a 2018 Audi SQ5, as I explained earlier. One of the cool things about this car in 2018 is it was really kind of ahead of its time when it comes to electronics. This thing has heated seats, digital climate control, traction control, different drive modes, even has a digital dash here, which can kind of be changed similar to the Porsche to whatever view you like, which is really neat. That was kind of new edge or cutting edge in 2018, and I still find that it's pretty valid today. Like, the thing is still pretty nice, runs pretty good, you know, it drives pretty good with some acceleration. Doesn't have the biggest back seat in the world, doesn't have the biggest rear cargo area, but enough for me, you know what I mean? I'm not hauling 5 kids around and stuff like that. I just do the occasional Costco runs. Actually, I don't even really do Costco runs anymore. I just do the delivery for Costco. Costco's less than a mile from my house, and a lot of times I just pay to have the stuff delivered, especially like the water and the soda. Like, going down there and lugging it back, it's just easier to pay somebody and tip them and have them do a big order and a delivery. It's just worth the time for me to spend the extra $5 or $10 in a tip and have them deliver it, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys do Costco delivery where you're at. I assume some people do that, and you know, I do it as well. I dig it. So anyway, this car is pretty cool. It is definitely very peppy. There's a bunch of different modes here that you have. You have all-road, you have comfort, you have auto, you have dynamic. Usually I'm driving in individual or I'm driving in dynamic, especially now since I've been driving the 911 a lot lately. I got to have that added performance and a little bit of stiffness here in the car to you know, make it feel normal, I guess. I don't want to be in a floaty boat, which is what this kind of feels like after you get out of the 911. You know, the 911 corners really incredibly, stops incredibly, accelerates incredible. I mean, it does everything amazing. I couldn't find a flaw on it the way it is. But even as awesome as that car is, and I've had a lot of different cars, after a while you kind of get used to the performance of it, and it, you know, it gets a little bit stagnant, which is unbelievable. And I'm sure that happens to people that have Lamborghinis and different cars like that and ultra expensive type stuff, you know, that after you drive it for a while, it's just like, you know, it's fun, but you're kind of used to the fun. I think that happens with a lot of different aspects in life. So anyways, guys, we're hitting the streets here. We're out. It's 49 degrees. That's a change from 70, which it was yesterday. Sunny, and it's supposed to get colder again tonight. So I don't know what's going on. It's making it tough for me to make these videos when every damn day it rains. So, but it's just kind of the Cleveland weather, and you got to expect it. There's a giant gain in horsepower in these cars. When you tune them. I don't know if you guys can hear it barking back there, but it really sounds cool. It's kind of like a rich, deep tone. It's awesome, actually. It's really cool. Really sounds really good. So these cars, you can get a lot more horsepower out of them very quickly with just a simple tune, which makes them fun. Turbo spools up a bunch more. I think you get a little over 100 extra horsepower when you tune it, and it's very cool. And these cars are really inexpensive and, you know, pretty reliable. Knock on wood, or let's knock on carbon fiber. How about that? We don't have any wood available to us, so I'm gonna knock on carbon fiber. This car has been really, really a good car. I've had this car for probably 3 years or better. One of the longer cars that I've actually had. I usually don't keep cars too long. And it's been a great car. It's a commuter. I don't think I'd ever sell it until it dies, man. You know, I'm going to keep it. As I said, I gave it to my son. My son had a 2015 VW GTI. We had it, you know, all done up and stuff like that. We messed with it, put a stereo in it, kind of relived my youth with him with it. And he was hit by an uninsured driver driving to college, and the car was totaled. The insurance company didn't give us what the car was worth after a battle back and forth. And so I don't know. I figured that it was time for me to make a move and get the car that I wanted. And I wanted to get a different daily driver, and rather than trade this thing in, I just figured it's a good idea to give it to him. And I'm glad I did, because it's a super cool car. All right, guys, so a little bit of a detour. What I'm going to do before I take you to the current flip house, I'm going to take you to one of my flip houses that is already complete, that was done, that was purchased, and is sold. And I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like. We're going to do a drive-by. I hadn't been by it since it was sold, so I'll kind of give you the whole rundown of it. And it's in Euclid, Ohio. So I'll just drive by it and show it to you and kind of give you an idea of what we did to it, where we're at with it, and how we got it, and how I got into this. You know, my father and mother used to talk to me my whole childhood about saving money, investing money, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And I heard them and I listened to them, but it just kind of got monotonous, because really at that point in life when they were talking to me about it, I didn't have any money to save, man. I was a dad, I was working, I was taking care of my family, paying for everything that my children needed, and trying to have, you know, a decent life, really. And that I couldn't incorporate saving because there was no money left at all. I didn't get to be able to invest money until a lot later in life, way later than I should have. I did invest some money, but it was just small amounts. It was minimal returns, and it was boring to even talk about, man. There was nothing like exciting about it. You were getting ready to roll through Dead Man's Curve. Like traditional investing in the S&P 500 or with an investment broker, putting money in and, you know, set it and forget it, is the boringest, in my opinion, the most boringest way that you can invest money. It does have results. The results are proven. It's a good thing to do, so you can set up retirement so you can find, you know, financial freedom at some point. But it is super ultra boring. And it's really hard to do for the average person who's kind of living paycheck to paycheck and just taking care of a family. So, you know, I think that you have to find something, and for me it's real estate, that you can get into, that you can make money, and then it becomes a challenge, a hobby. You can set goals and you're excited. Like when you buy a house and you get a house and you're an entrepreneur, and this is kind of what the business you're in is, what and what you do. We're rolling through Dead Man's Curve here. Like when you get a house and you get a good deal on it, it's exciting, man. It's cool to shop for that, kind of a challenge for you, and you can goal yourself to find it and get into it. And you do need money to do it. I mean, it's not like you could just get in and, you know, you have, I don't know, $5,000 or $10,000 in your bank account. If maybe you have nothing that you really can't get into. But you know, you got to have money to do it. So you got to goal yourself to get into it and save the money so that you can have the money to do your first one. There's other ways to do it too. If you're a current homeowner right now and you have some equity in your home, you can get an equity line of credit on your house. You can use that money to start it. And you don't necessarily need to flip it. You could buy it, you could you could renovate it, you could rent it, and you could refinance it and get your money back. And that's kind of how I got started in this. You know, I bought a very small house, a 900 square foot house on a whim in an old neighborhood with a friend of mine that we were in business together. And we bought it for $30-some thousand on a whim. We had some extra money. We had a pretty decent year, and we split it between the two of us. And we got into it. We bought the house, and it was near the lake in a rural community where I used to visit when I was a kid in the summers. And we went through a bunch of headaches and a super learning process with it. And it's a place that's kind of hard to find contractors because there's not a very big population in this city, and it was tough. We learned a lot through it, and we worked through it. We rented it out. It made good money. The neighbor that was to the right of the house ended up being a big problem, so we decided to sell it, and we actually made money on it. So through all the mistakes that we made on it, all the trials and tribulations and headaches and long nights and repairs and blah, 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 blah. There's a million underlying things there. It actually wound up to where we made money on the house, and it was good. We were able to take that money and buy another house, and then so on and so forth. And then it just kind of started to flow a little bit, which is cool. I'm not going to say there were no headaches with it, but after that one deal, we were able to get into some other houses, and it was amazing. And really, a lot of the houses that you'll buy when you're buying real estate, you can find through word of mouth and just like networking through people. Like a lot of times you can network through the people that are repairing your house, the contractors. Because the contractors that you're using, they're working on other homes and they know landlords that are in the area. And that's what happened here. This woman we met a woman through a contractor that we knew that had a bunch of rental houses in the same city, and we were able to make a deal with her to buy one. We paid for it, and then she had 3 other ones, and then she said, well, the transaction on the first one was good. We convinced her to do some seller financing on the other 3, and so we were able to get the 3. Boom, we jumped up another 3 houses, and we were able to, they were actually already rented out with long-term tenants in them that were paying money on time religiously, and they were kept up in pretty good shape. Bunch of other stuff in between there, there's always something going on, but anyway, it worked out to where we were able to refinance those houses and get some extra money off of them because they appraised for a little bit more than what we owed, and we were able to pay her off. We had a little bit of extra money, and she had one other house that was in Euclid, Ohio, that we were able to buy from her and just pay for through the other properties. So it wasn't like we took a bunch of money out of our pocket. We had to save up money and stuff like that. We were able to use the lender's money in order to buy this house. So on this house, it would have been a really good rental, but we decided that we wanted to try to flip it to see how it did, and it actually did really, really well. There's different contractors in different areas, and we had a contractor that took much longer than we thought to actually repair it, but we ended up doing really well with it. And I'm going to drive you by that house right now. But if you're in the business or you want to achieve something, you got to be relentless with it. You got to work towards that goal and just get there no matter what it takes. And it really starts by learning it and being involved in it and doing. The more that you do, the more you learn, period. This house I got again from a lady that we bought 4 houses from in a rural community. And she had this house, and it was actually in probate. What happened was her parents passed away, and she had, I don't know, 3 or 4 brothers and sisters, and she was taking care of the house because she was the closest. All the other family members lived out of state, and they weren't coming around. She was taking care of the house. She wanted to sell it. The house was in disarray. She had a couple buyers, but they were waiting for all the people to sign off on the houses, and the other relatives wouldn't sign off on the deal because they felt the house was worth more than she was selling for it. So it was just a strange situation. So anyway, I had to find out what the problem was and why the house wasn't selling and why the rest of the family wasn't signing off on it. It really was because it was for sale, or they were selling it for too cheap. It wasn't expensive. That's the house right there. That's the house. I'm going to turn around here in this turnaround and kind of show you what's going on with it. That's the house. So here we go, turn it around. So really what the problem was is that the other relatives that were involved in the estate didn't sign off on the house because they were selling the house too cheap. They wanted a little more, and it really wasn't a lot more, man. So she was selling this house right here for $45,000 or something of the sort. Really they thought it was too cheap. It wasn't good. The house was sold to an investor. The investor didn't want to pay for, or wanted to pay for it fast, but the relatives wouldn't sign off on it. So I kept asking her about this and just was relentless with it. And finally I said, maybe the problem is that you're not selling it for enough money. And I offered her more than she had it sold to that property investor, so that the family could get a little bit more money. I told them I'd pay cash and I could do it quickly, and really the cash was coming from the houses that I bought from her, refinancing them. And through trial and error, and it took about 6 months or 8 months, finally they agreed to sell it to me. The house didn't look like this when I got it, obviously. We had to paint it. We put in new windows. We did all new drywall. We redid a lot of it. But it was a cute little house. It's on a corner here, so there really aren't a lot of neighbors, which makes it kind of unique. It's also right across the street from a McDonald's, so you get Happy Meals like crazy if you want. Anytime you want a Happy Meal or a Big Mac, you run right across the street. You get a Big Mac with no pickles and extra mac sauce, and you're good. So anyway, we bought this house for $58,000, and it was sold for $45 or something like that and change to the other investor, but just wasn't enough for the family. And we ended up selling this house for like $199 after we did a bunch of repairs and spent a lot of money on it. But I don't have the actual breakdown here of exactly how we did and what we made, but we ended up making quite a bit of money on this house, and we used that money on this house to buy other houses. So it worked out pretty well. So that's just an example. And we really just kind of, you know, pieced this one together by networking and finding a lady, an old property owner that just kind of wanted to get out of the business and, you know, do something different with her life. And one phone call, one relationship transmitted into like 5 house deals. So 4 of which we still have as rentals, and this one was a flip. And once we got a taste of the flip, we wanted to do more flips, and you just want to do more of everything. The more funny thing is about networking too, and in real estate, is I met a lot of people that I still use currently now, networking through other people and actually contractors that I'm using. I just ask them what realtors they deal with, just in conversation, and be friendly with them to find guys to do HVAC work inexpensively, to find realtors that kind of specialize in these houses, inexpensive houses in urban neighborhoods. You know, like I would just network, and I would use people that had proven results, and people that say, hey man, I worked with this guy and he's great, you got to use him. I just save his number and build rapport with everybody that I met so that I could be as successful as others that have used these guys. So, you know, and they're out there. Just got to kind of pay attention. You got to network. You got to communicate with people, and, you know, you can find these people and develop your own, so to speak, you know, starting lineup for being in real estate. Taking forever through here, man. Golly, guys, get moving. I don't care if it's Sunday. Step on the gas already. Let's go. Really, the smart way to do it too is if you are...
feet, turn left onto Bluestone Road.
Bluestone Road. If you're looking to buy or start in real estate and you don't have a ton of money, you really got to start with an area where you can find inexpensive houses.
Turn left onto Bluestone Road.
And you got to learn that area so you know what the area is. You got to watch the sheriff sales, watch the auctions, get signed up, and you got to look for deals in a bad area on the right street. Good streets in bad areas, there really are. And that's where you need to focus your efforts, finding really, guys, what I do right now is I look for the least expensive house in a bad neighborhood on the best street. That's what I look for. That's my criteria. And it's worked, guys. It's worked. You know what I mean? Because there are good streets in bad areas. And, you know, that once you know the area that you're in, where you're looking, where you can potentially find a house that you can afford to flip or afford to rent or whatever, that's what you need to do. And the closer you're out of jobs, the more tenants you have and the more buyers you have. So pick an urban city where you're at, where houses and housing is inexpensive, and find the best house in the worst neighborhood on the best street. That's what you need to look for. At least that's what's worked for me. And like, even if you don't have the money to start this right now, you can still register, you know, to bid on houses at a sheriff's sale. You can still kind of become a student of the game, and then you just got to figure out how to get the money. You know, you got to get your money up. You got to get your money together, whether you're going to leverage a property that you have right now, whether you're going to save, whether you're going to borrow from a relative, whether you're going to do some credit card arbitrage. You know, you're going to take some advances from your credit cards to buy a house. Doesn't matter. You got to get in the game. Once you're in the real estate game, you know, you can see things start to flow and you can start to figure things out. But you got to play the game to make money. Down the street from the flip house, like construction going on, all kinds of shopping, hospitals, business, markets. I mean, I think I did a great job here pointing out this one. Neighborhood is not horrible. This is actually a decent neighborhood. I paid under $100,000 for the house. And I mean, you got all this going on here. There's all these, this is a Sunday we're driving through here, and there's just like endless traffic here and business going on and people shopping, and there's jobs, there's things going on. We're right in the thick of it, guys. We're right down the street from high prices too. I mean, we got a good price on this house, and I think it's going to do good money when it's done. It's just the process of getting it there. And then I really start to think that because this one in particular, this house, is in a good neighborhood, and it's right down the street from all the jobs and hospitals, high-rise apartment buildings and office space and everything, that maybe I need to keep this one because this one is going to appreciate, you know, as opposed to just flip it. So, you know, there's that instant cash that you get and that instant gratification from selling it, but there's also something to be said to holding it long term and keeping it, letting it appreciate, and collecting rent forever. Doesn't stop. I mean, just pulling up to this house, you got rentals here, you got a nice park right along the other side, and then you pull up and you're like, bam, look at this house, man. Look at this house. Grass needs to be cut. But I mean, this is a perfect rental in my opinion. Guys, so we got a detailed full experience here of this house. So this is the street that we have here. You got condos that are for sale across the street, and you got the park across the street. A lot of grass needs to be cut. We've been getting a lot of rain here. These condos right here, the door to the left, little condo there, 2-floor condos sold for $140. That one right to the left there, that's a comp that we could use. Then you got this house here to the right of it, and then you got the street. So look at the condition of this house. We're obviously in a little bit better shape now than we were in that house. And we need to do some landscaping and some different things. But so we just put the brand new roof on it. We painted the house this green. We painted the shutters black. We painted both chimneys black. And as you can see, they look really good. I think the new roof looks fantastic. Absolutely does. And the color of the house is pretty sharp. We got a few more things to do here, guys. It's not completely done, but you know, this is kind of where we're at as far as what's going on today. Now the house inside is kind of a mess because we got this AC debacle, and it's you know, it's a big job to put new vents in the ceilings for the entire house, for everything. You know, just a big job. So there's the park again that's across the street. We got this green really kind of stands out, I think, from all the other houses that are around here. So especially with the new black roof, looks great, really does. You got the back of the house here with the new roof. Here's where we're at here. There's a pretty decent size backyard, nice big tree. Again, you got the park across the street. You got university hospitals right here, and you got all stuff down on the other side of the street. But it's coming along, man. This one is very close to being done. Just the biggest hurdle we have here is this AC. Not sure what's going on with this. Got to get that tacked back up there. But little slab in the back here that somebody used as maybe like a patio, I guess you'd say here. But look at how nice this little house looks, man. It really is coming along here. And that roof, I think, really kind of changed the game with this. It just made the house kind of pop. I think it looks fantastic. So we're gonna go ahead and go inside and see what kind of mess we got going on here. The house, all the flooring is done. A lot of stuff is done inside, but we've been, it's all a mess right now because of the AC. So we got to do a little bit of landscaping here, get rid of all these weeds, fertilize a little bit. So we bought this door. It was white. We had the door painted. We painted it kind of this off black color, dark gray color. And then we boxed in the windows here, which I think look pretty good. So come inside, take a look. And it was once clean here from the last video you saw, but now it is an absolute mess. That's just because there's a lot of cutting here and forming here with this metal. We have to form all brand new vents in the ceiling here. So we got different vents going in the ceiling for the heat and AC. You got your return right here that we had to put in, and they're in and out of the attic here, left and right. So we got insulation kind of all over the floor, and it's tough here. And for the majority of the time, these guys are working here with no heat. All we need to repair, and it's coming along, but it's definitely a slow process right now. Got the vanity ready to go in the bathroom, and we did get rid of the fans that were here, and I put 2 recessed lights in the kitchen, and we have cabinets ready to go that we have in our storage area. that there's just not the room to put them in yet. And you don't want to really put anything in here when these guys are in and out of here building these vents that are here. It's just a giant job. This job would have cost so much money had I not found this guy to do it inexpensively. So got our tankless hot water heater mounted on the wall, which is really cool. And, we're putting in these vents. So all the vents need to be done and pipe plumbed through the ceiling, which is crazy. We got brand new electric we put in here. This had knob and tube wiring. We got a brand new box in here. So, I mean, this thing is going to be like ready to go, like new from the moment you walk in until, you go, everything's new. And we built this little space here too to just kind of open this area up. And it's kind of cool. I think architecturally it looks pretty good with this area. This closet that you had right here was actually like this. So we kind of opened it up and put the door right here to the laundry room. And again, this is the kitchen, kind of just open it up and make it look really nice. And I like to do the off-white walls and then all black doorknobs, black ceiling fan, black lights, and the floor is light. It's a really, really sharp looking floor. This house is going to look absolutely spectacular. The other thing I got to do is I got to figure out what we're going to do with this window here. This window is cracked, and you can see it's an etched glass, and that one is etched with this one. So I may have to just replace that, or you may be able to etch this glass to look like that after you replace that. I don't know. I don't want to replace this whole window here because that's probably like, probably like a $4,000 or $5,000 window. I don't want to do that. So look at this guy here. We left a little note. He's upset. He's not happy with the job. So, yep. So these guys are in and out of this attic space here. I'm not going to go up and look at the ducts right now, but this is an ongoing job, with everything. So new vents in every single room, plumbed in throughout the whole house. Giant job here. And that's just why it's taking as much time as it's taking. And there's just nothing you can do about it unless you want to pay buku bucks. And I don't want to pay buku bucks. I got to make a living. I got to make money on this thing. But every time I walk in this house, I picture this house being done, and it's going to look spectacular. And every time I look at it, the more and more I tell myself that I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it. There's the vents up there. We're keeping this bathtub, or not bathtub, but this shower here. It's in pretty good shape. The commode, there's really nothing wrong with it, so we'll put that back in there. I bought a backlit vanity mirror, which is pretty cool. It's going to go on the wall right here after we put the vanity in. Got to do some plumbing things in here. It's pretty close. We're just waiting for the HVAC to be done. Then we got a big cleanup job in this thing, but this is going to be a real nice house when it's done. I don't know if you saw the other videos, but I may post a video here of this house from when the first day that I walked in it from the sheriff's sale. I think that's on my shorts or somewhere in there. You can see it. But it was a disaster, but not a big disaster. This was something that, paint really in a house and new light fixtures and new flooring goes a real long way, guys. So that's it. This is kind of the update of where we're at with this thing. And this guy maybe another week with the HVAC. Just not much I can really do about it, but hope it gets done quicker. So, but that's where we're at, man. House is coming along, and in my eyes, it's looking great, and I can't wait to show you guys the final product. Moreover, show you the final numbers, baby. Let's cash that check. Let's see how much money we make and where we're at. And who knows? I could flip and keep this thing and just decide that, I don't want to sell it. I want to rent it, and I want to reap the rewards from this thing for a longer period of time. No basement, all brand new electric, all brand new HVAC, and a brand new roof. What would you guys do, guys? Leave in the comments, what would you do? Would you rent this house, or would you go for the quick cash with a flip and move on to the next one? What would you do?